The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
So welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast, where we highlight top professionals who are making waves in the industry. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today I'm joined by Patrick Longley. He's a real estate expert, blending technology, online marketing, and smart systems to transform the buying and selling process. So he has over a decade of experience in online marketing. Patrick, he empowers his clients with data-driven guidance. Let's get rid of all the emotion, right? Data-driven guidance and seamless service. So he has a real passion for education, and consulting has earned him a flawless 5-star review record and recognition as a top agent. So let's dive into his journey and maybe some of his insights on the future of real estate. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate that. Very kind and over the top, but I'll take it. Introduction. Thank you so much.
Take it. So let's start with your journey. Let's start with your backstory. So would you like to share with the listeners what inspired you to transition from online marketing into real estate?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long-winded story, but I'll try to keep it brief. So back in the day when I was in college, I graduated from college, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, even though I got, a degree in marketing and Spanish. And I actually found myself assisting my mom, who was a real estate agent at the time, with building a website for her. And that kind of started my process of getting into digital advertising, building websites, doing SEO, Facebook ads, and that's kind of all that started it. So I have my mom to thank for a lot of that, who's also been my mentor through real estate. And then I kind of had an idea pop up like, hey, I can actually pull money from out of the air from just resources that I learned online. And I took that business to the next level. So fast forward, that business did really well. At its peak, I had about 10 contractors that I managed. I was doing, for Fortune 500 companies, was building their websites, doing their SEO, doing their Facebook ads, even moved myself to Costa Rica so I could have low expenses, surf every single day, and live the life that I wanted. And then life kind of pushed me again. My whole life was kind of driven off surfing. I always wanted to surf and be in warm water. So I moved from Costa Rica to Hawaii, where I have a lot of family members out here, and continued that business. And then my mom asked me, because I was starting to generate leads for real estate agents through Facebook ads. She's like, why don't you just get licensed? You figured out how to do the most difficult part of this job, which is generating leads. So after a while, I kind of, thought about that. I passed the test. And when I saw that a lot of realtors who always forget to follow up, right? I can give you the leads, but if you don't follow up, then that's on you. And they were like, yeah, these leads don't work. I said, sure, let's put that, to the test. And dropped all those contracts, pushed all the leads to myself. And that's how I kind of took my business to being somebody new to Hawaii who knew nobody really other than a couple cousins and uncles and aunties. And then took my business, to where it is now, which, I've hit icon status in the top 1% across the nation, in the top 10 realtors in Oahu.
Amazing. Well, so you've done things sort of back to front. And I mean, isn't it interesting that I think, and this is not just about realtors. It seems to be so many people start a business and they do not understand how to get leads. They don't understand marketing. So you sort of merge the two together. And how do you really think that your background in technology and digital marketing, how has that really given you the edge over all the other realtors in your area?
Well, they always say like the top 10% producers are generally people who have been in the business for 30 years. So a lot of their business is coming through referral and things like that. We are starting to see a lot of these young guns who are kind of behind the ball in that because they've only been in it for a couple of years. And they're like, well, how can I get a leg up on their competition? Well, the door knockings, the stop buys or drop buys and the mailers. Yeah, that used to work back in the day, but there's better, cheaper ways to basically do your branding and lead generation online. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of these newer kids on the block kind of leveraging it, whether they either hire somebody to do it or if they have the knowledge to do it. And just a side story, something that I forgot to mention, which was been a very important part of my business, is I went from Patrick, the web guy, to Patrick, the real estate guy, right? And the way I had to do that was I had to trade people's mind space in their head when I was here as, oh, Patrick's not the web guy anymore. He's the real estate guy. Well, how do you do that without calling them every day going, hey, you looking to buy or sell real estate? Is that as I was learning, I would learn something. Now we have ChatGPT. I didn't have it before, but I would learn something, educate myself, and then I would make a video about it. And that would help solidify it in my brain so that I would remember it when I'm in front of clients and I could, practice in front of the camera before practicing in front of clients. But more importantly, it gave me an asset, a video that I could put on there passively on Facebook. And I then ended up putting it on YouTube. But to tell people that I already knew in my sphere, hey, I know stuff about real estate. Let me educate you. Let me provide some value. And I then put it on YouTube as well, just to have a place to store it. And I was like, hey, maybe I can try optimizing this because I already know how to kind of do that. And then next thing you know, a couple months later, I got a lead that was like, hey, I found you on YouTube. I helped them find a home, got a $12,000 check. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. And so that's where I kind of dove deeper into it, doing keyword research and then really double downing on doing video, not only for now my sphere of influence on Facebook, on Instagram, but more importantly on YouTube, which is the second biggest search engine in the world. And that has been basically my entire business. I'd say 80% of my leads come through YouTube at this point. So I've really doubled down on that. I've got an entire marketing team that helps me edit. So I just film, I send them the raw footage, they edit it, they post it, they schedule it, they optimize it, do my thumbnails and all of that. And so that's kind of how I went from just an idea of kind of accidentally coming across this lead generation process and then kind of hyper focusing on it.
That is amazing. And I think that is what a lot of people are looking to go into. But what do you think is sort of holding people back from putting themselves out there on YouTube to do that? Because quite obviously it works. But why are aren't more realtors actually using that as a lead generation tool?
There's a handful of things because I mentor a couple agents and I preach to the choir that they should be doing YouTube. The first one I would say is analysis paralysis, right? They overanalyze it. What cameras do I need? What microphone do I need? What should I talk about? Oh, I look stupid on camera. And then they end up just not doing anything, right? They just analyze it to death. And that's like one of the biggest mistakes. I think the biggest thing you should do is literally we have this phone that has an amazing camera on it. You can just use your AirPods, which you have, which is a pretty good mic as well, and just start. Like that's like one of the biggest challenges I see. And then of course people always going back to that same thing. Well, I look dumb on camera. I'm not good on camera. Of course you don't, because you've never done it, right? I wasn't comfortable at first, right? And if you go back to my YouTube channel and see my first videos, it's a whole different vibe. I've got way more energy. I'm sharper. But then the other thing you have to keep in mind is we have the power to edit it, right? So those those uhs, those things that you screw up, just keep the camera rolling and edit it out. And then you make it short, tight, and sweet. And again, don't think that it has to be perfect, right? Perfect is the biggest enemy of progress. So just do something and you will see that even that you might be making mistakes, people actually appreciate that because that's better than the super sharp, cherry shined up HGTV style where it seems super fake. People want somebody who's real. They want to work with somebody that they know, like, and trust, as we discussed earlier, right?
Absolutely.
So the best way to do
Absolutely.
that is to be authentic.
This is the beauty, isn't it, of it that you do. It's just like podcasts as well. You get to show up as your authentic self, and it's humanizing you as a realtor, right? And let's face it, a lot of realtors don't necessarily have a good reputation in the minds of the people, right? But putting yourself out there on YouTube, it's like, oh, he's a real person. Actually, he's okay.
Yeah.
So it's a great tool, right? And what I love about what you've just shared there is, you know what? on your phone, even if you were to do a live stream on Facebook, you could just set it to only me and practice. There really isn't any reason why more realtors aren't using this phenomenal tool to drive leads. That's brilliant. And so you've built a complete reputation for providing a seamless, systematic experience. So what are your key strategies to make buying or selling a home just easier for your clients?
Yeah. So again, when I was managing 10 contractors, that's a lot in itself. We had a lot of moving parts, a lot of different assets, client interaction, interactions with the contractor, quality control. So the biggest thing was systems. So I'm a big systems guy. And one thing that I utilize, and this is a big pro tip for a lot of people out there, and my clients absolutely love this, is we don't have that interaction that maybe agents did in the past where it's like you're always meeting with the client to sign a document. You can do everything via DocuSign, right? Or if we're analyzing a property, I can explain it on the phone, but having that visual feel is extremely important. So what I've added in my business, which I used to do in my digital advertising business for my clients when I was going through a website or when I was explaining to a contractor how we needed to edit something, is I would use this tool called Loom, Loom.com.
Mm.
It's the best thing that's ever, that I've ever brought into my business. It's basically what it does is it records your screen and gets my audio as if I was sitting there right with you. Well, what can I use that for in real estate? What couldn't you use this for in real estate?
Mm.
Right? So if you're doing a CMA for somebody, maybe somebody's looking to sell pretty soon. Well, instead of having to set an appointment, go to the kitchen table, do all that, we'll spark their interest by just making a video. Your face is at the bottom. You're just going over the comps in the area and you give them a general range, right? You don't want to give them the exact number because you want to make that conversation in person so you can get under contract. And that's one way to do it. Another way that I've done to systemize my process is when my clients are going through a transaction, there's lots of documents that they have to sign, seller's disclosure, condo documents, surveys, all these things. Well, what I do is I pull up the document and I've systemized it by certain documents will be the same every single time and give them a tutorial video on how to read it, how to understand it, what to look for. Or I'll make a custom
Mm.
video, which they absolutely love when I say their name in the video, like, oh my God, he's saying the video, he's going through it. And I'll actually be like, hey, here are the condo documents. I was reviewing it. I saw that there's going to be an increase in HOAs by 40%. That's a little concerning for me, X, Y, and Z. But I have that video, so it feels like I'm right there with them. And that's really increased the experience and that wow factor,
Oh.
right? So when my clients
Mm.
receive that, they see a video, they go, what's this? They click on it, they go, oh my God, that's my deal. Oh my God, he's talking to me. Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
explaining exactly what I didn't really understand.
Brilliant tips. I hope you're listening, guys, because all these tools that are available to you these days, they're there for you to use and it's going to help grow your business. So, what advice would you give to maybe first time home buyers who want to make informed and confident decisions in today's market?
I would say, make sure you align yourself and interview agents because all of us agents are not equal. And find someone that you vibe with, but also find somebody who's looking out in your best interest. I always tell my clients it's your job to fall in love with the property, and it's my job to make sure it's a sound investment, right?
Mhm.
That's why I always kind of lean from the data side. And I even push myself away and I go, listen, if you're looking for an agent to tell you how beautiful the kitchen is, then I'm not that guy, right? You can see how beautiful the kitchen is. I'm not going to be like, look at these quartz countertops. No, what I'm going to look at is what is the increase in HOAs over the last 3 years? What is the appreciation rate over the last 3 years? Do I see any spalling issues around the building? Again, I'm not an inspector, but these are all general things that I'm going to look at. What are the comps? Is this listed too high? Is this listed too low? What are the rents going to be? These are the things that I bring to the table and somebody that you should align yourself with when it comes to purchasing real estate because yes, it's a big emotional purchase, but it's also going to be one of the largest investments of your life. And you need someone
Mm.
who's on your side who can remove the emotion and be that person on your shoulder to go, yeah, the property's beautiful, but this is the most expensive house in the neighborhood. And if you're going to sell in 3 years, you're going to have a tough time catching up with the appreciation because maybe this neighborhood's not as best as the best neighborhood, right? So you need
Mm.
somebody who's going to look out for you, not just push paperwork. If you want that, just hire an attorney.
Right. So, and yeah, buying a home, selling a home is, like you said, it's an emotional thing. So, what I'm hearing from you is actually you've switched it and you're focusing, you're a data-driven realtor. And do you think that's what separates you from the marketplace?
I think it does to a certain extent. I think it also pushes certain buyers maybe away from me to a certain extent, right? Because it's such an emotional purchase. Some people don't want that. Some people want that person to be their best friend and just goo goo gaga over properties with them. And that's fine. And that's again why I tell my clients up front, I'm not going to be that person for you. Yeah, I'm fun to hang out with. I'm a funny dude. I'll make some jokes. We'll do this. We'll have that. But I'm never going to sell you on a property. And that's another big thing I tell them. I say, listen, it might say that I'm a salesperson, but I'm not a salesperson. I'm a consultant. I'm never going to sell you on a property. I'm going to consult you to make sure that it's a sound investment, and it's you again to make that decision.
Well, you're doing it right. You're up there. How long ago did you join EXP?
Oh Lord, let's see here. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And what was the main change for you? How has it changed your sort of day to day, would you say?
Well, it wasn't so much that it changed my day to day because really what it was is it aligned with how I already ran my business. I was with Keller Williams prior, and I absolutely loved Keller Williams. I loved the community, I loved the people. But there was a kind of a push where, EXP was out there. I was hearing about it, having a bunch of agents calling me, trying to recruit me, and I just wasn't ready to leave yet. And then when I kind of sat down and saw the business model, it was kind of a no-brainer. But more importantly, what I didn't really like was, of course, the money part, right? What the actual splits were. But the biggest thing for me was I was already working from home. I was already doing everything digitally. And Keller Williams at the point, I think they've changed now. A lot of their training, you had to be there in person, which is a 35, 40-minute drive for me, where all the training for EXP was already there. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, let me get this straight. This company forces me to have to, if I want to learn and be a better agent, I have to drive 45 minutes. Then I have to sit there, learn it, and then drive 45 minutes back. That's 3 hours of my day that I totally wasted. And additionally, they're going to take more money from me when I actually do a transaction. And they charge me these office fees and desk fees that I don't even use because it's so far away. Well, this business model over here is already kind of checking all the boxes. They're going to charge me less. They've got everything online, so I can learn something at my will when I want, and I can keep more money in my pocket. So I think for agents who are comfortable with that online presence, and there's going to be some agents who are like, I like going into a building. Okay, if that's the
Mm-hmm.
case, that's on you. You're going to pay for it, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to start to see that a lot of people shifting. We're already seeing this kind of happening from this almost like switching from a Blockbuster to Netflix kind of model, where
Mm-hmm.
the brick and mortars are not going to be are going to be of the past, and we're starting to already see some of that people shifting over or some new companies coming out of the woodworks.
But do you think that because of your background in digital marketing, that is what has helped you excel within EXP? And other realtors need to catch up, right?
Yeah, I think that that's definitely a big piece of it. And I think that it was a smaller learning curve for me because I was already kind of comfortable with online training and doing Zoom meetings and doing their silly little in the world system that they have when you want support. But it really wasn't that difficult. It's just like anything. You're either going to change with the times or you're going to be of the past. So either get on the train or don't. Um, that's kind of my 2 cents on
Mm.
that.
So how's it been where you are? Last year was different, but transactions wise, how did you do at the end of 2024?
We did pretty well. I'm now just brought on a showing agent that to help me with the amount of influx of transactions that we're having. Um, I had one of my best years last year, and it's just been growing every single year. And I think last year I did about 25 transactions, which might not be a lot if you're like in the Midwest, where I've talked to some agents who are like, yeah, we did 100 transactions. But, the price point out here is fluctuates between the median sales price between 1.1 and 1.3. So did pretty well for myself. Bought a couple investment properties and really have taken my life to the next level, fortunately, because of real estate. And again, if I was to put it all on something, it was because of YouTube. Really. That's where like all my business comes from. And that all started with just getting that silly camera out, putting it out there, don't get analysis paralysis, and start marketing yourself, but more importantly, provide value, right? Just
Mm.
answer the questions that people are asking and be the person with that stupid thumbnail going, "Oh," and giving them the answer that they're looking for.
Just do it. Just do it. So
Yeah.
what's next? What's next for Patrick? What are your goals for 2025?
Yeah, so like I said, I just brought on the big goal I had was, switching gears from being a salesperson or a consultant, I said, or solo agent, and bringing on a buyer's agent who's been helping me a lot. He's also a prior military service member, so he definitely aligns with my clients, and buying back more of my time. I've kind of hit, what I wanted to make, and I want to, of course, make more, but I'm getting to that part. I have a baby on the way. I just got married. We bought a new home that we're kind of nesting in. And right now, you either have time or money. I'm fortunate enough to have made a good amount of money and still building. And now I'm trying to buy back more of my time. So my big thing is to, make the same amount that I'm making, but just get more of my time back. So that's kind of my big goal right now is to kind of start to take more of a management role and maybe bring
Mm-hmm.
on a couple more agents. But I don't want to build a mega team and just be babysitting all the time. I just want to, people out here in Hawaii, it's not the rat race that we see in LA or New York where it's like just make money, make money, make money, make money. People out here kind of put a lot more value in quality time, enjoying their lives out here. It's so much to enjoy out here. And I've done that, but I definitely sacrificed a bit to get my business to where it's at. And now that it is where it's at, I want to take a step back so that I can enjoy my time with my soon to come daughter and with my wife and with my friends and
Awesome.
family and just golf and surf as much as possible.
Ah, fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, lastly, here at Icons, we're not just a podcast, we're the number one real estate podcast network globally, and we are passionate about making podcasting accessible to anybody involved in the business of real estate. So, Patrick, if you had your own podcast, what do you think you'd call it?
Um, I would probably have it something in line with either the military community, but I think also making data-driven decisions. Data,
Ah,
something along the lines of like data-driven real estate or something along those lines. I think that would be kind of a good name for my market that I'm focusing on.
awesome. Awesome. And so, if anybody's looking to buy or sell, or they might want to join you with EXP, how would they get in touch with you? Where would they find you?
Yeah, you can feel free to call, text, or email me. Hopefully you'll have my contact information down below. If you want to learn more about kind of just again, right, this is the beauty of YouTube. If you want to kind of see how my vibe is and how I run my business, you can check out my YouTube channel. I actually have two channels. I'm building up a new one. So I'll send you guys the links for that. And yeah, a big thing, if anybody wanted to get in contact with me, feel free to reach out to me. I also am part of EXP and I'm part of the Wolf Pack, which is led by Mike Sherrard, one of the best digital advertising real estate specialists out there. And he provides lots of training and is really what helped me take my YouTube channel to where it was to where it is now, kind of showing me how to scale it and systemize it. So if you guys are interested in any of that training, if you join the Wolf Pack under with me, you get access to all of that training on how to really leverage YouTube, Facebook ad, Instagram ads, Google ads, and everything you need to know about digital advertising.
Fantastic. Yes. And Patrick's details will be in the show notes. So resort back to those. Patrick, thank you so much for taking your time out today and speaking with me and to the listeners. I'll be back next time with the Icons of Real Estate. Bye for now.